is Jeopardy! Please welcome our contestants. Player 1. Player 2. Player 3. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Rivette.
Thank you, Johnny Gilbert. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Let's take you right now into the Jeopardy round. Clues are worth $200 to $1,000 in these categories. Salmon. Slogans and mottos. Book learnin'. That's my ma. TV nostalgia. And war. Player 1, make a selection, please, as we continue. It takes a lickin' and keeps on ticking. Okay, Player 1. Woo! That's correct. Player 1, choose again. All the news that's fit to print. Here's the response we were looking for. The New York Times. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. Choosy moms choose this. Yes, Player 1? That's correct. Player 1, back to you. Because I'm worth it. Here's what we wanted. L'Oreal. Player 1, you pick again, please. With a name like this one, it has to be good. Yes, Player 1? You got it. Select again. In an animated 1987 TV special, this space-age family traveled back in time to meet the Flintstones. Player 1? That's right. Way to go. Player 1, back to you. In the pilot for this 60s sitcom, Jed and Jethro first meet Mr. Drysdale when he comes to get them out of jail. Player 1? Yeah! Good for you. Player 1, choose again. The 1973 TV season gave us Richard Roundtree as this super cool private eye he'd played on film. Okay, Player 1. Right. Select again. According to his theme song, Mr. This will never speak unless he has something to say. Player 3? Sorry, that's wrong. Anyone else? Yes, Player 1? Yeah. Right. You get to pick again, Player 1. In the 50s, this movie Tarzan was still hanging out with a chimp, but he wore more than a loincloth as TV's Jungle Jim. Yes, Player 3? Yeah! That's right. Way to go. You've got some money again. Player 3, you start us off. Her Little Women appeared in 1868. A mere 127 years later, her A Long Fatal Love Chase arrived. It's Player 1. Yeah. Good for you. All right, let's get back into this. Player 1 has control of the board. In 1758, Ben Franklin issued his last publication of this annual. It's player 1. Good for you! Player 1, choose again. Game fish of the family Istiophoridae with a pointed snout. Okay, player 2. Good. Player 2, make a selection, please, as we continue. A doctor who specializes in the treatment of skin diseases. Let's hear it, player 2. Good for you. You get to pick again, player 2. Here's Kelly from our Clue Crew with the clue.
Its silhouette is seen here.
Let's hear it, player 1.
Wow!
Where do we begin, player 1? Dr. Faustus, playwright. Let's hear it, player 2. No, that's not right. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Here's what we wanted. Christopher Marlowe. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. In addition to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, he wrote an 1887 story on the Civil War, North Against South. It's player 3. Sorry, that's wrong. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Let's hear it, player 1. That's not it. Anyone else? Let's hear it, player 2. That's correct. Where do we begin, player 2? All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others, in a 1945 book by this author. Player 3? Sorry. That's incorrect. Anyone else? Here's the response we were looking for. George Orwell. You get to pick again, player 2. In 1840, he hit a bumpo in the road and penned The Pathfinder. Here's what we wanted. James Fenimore Cooper. You get to pick again, player 2. In 1863, this Russian wrote The Cossacks, a short novel based on his travels with the army. Let's hear it, player 2. Any other takers? The correct response is Leo Tolstoy. You get to pick again, player 2. Henry V and Joan of Arc both fought in this lengthy struggle between England and France. Yes, player 3?
Yeah!
Player 3, you start us off. Here's Kelly.
Gas masks became a key part of a soldier's equipment after poison gas was used at the Second Battle of Ypres during this war.
The correct response is World War I. You again, player 3. In the biggest amphibious invasion in history, 350,000 troops invaded this French region in 1944. The correct response is Normandy. Player 3, back to you for our next selection. The 262 model from this German manufacturer was the world's first operational fighter jet. Let's hear it, player 2. That's it. Great, you're back into it now. Where do we begin, player 2? The oldest army unit in the world is this national one, founded in 1506, that guards the Pope. Here's the response we were looking for. The Swiss Guard. Player 2, back to you. Fish ladders help salmon travel upstream over these man-made obstructions. Okay, player 1. Good. Player 1, make a... Salmon are members of the same family as the speckled or brook variety of this fish. Let's hear it, player 2. Aww. That's incorrect. Anyone else? Yes, player 1? Yep. Player 1, choose again. World Book says this country leads the world in salmon fishing with more than 450,000 tons caught each year. Player 1? Woo! That's right. Way to go. Select again. And so, it's the Daily Double. You are in the lead right now. Please enter your wager. And the Daily Double clue. Weighing up to 100 pounds, this large type of salmon shares its name with a warm, dry wind. That puts you even further ahead. And here's the $1,000 clue. When it gets its silvery scales and migrates to the sea for the first time, a young salmon is called this. The correct response is a smolt. Player 3, you're going first in the Double Jeopardy round when we return. Let's see what happens in Double Jeopardy with these categories awaiting the players. The 1920s. Poets. The songs of Paul Simon. Double Talk. A in Geography. And It's a Gas. Player 3, make a selection, please, as we continue. On January 7th, 1927, transatlantic phone service began as the president of AT&T called this world capital. Let's hear it, player 3. That is correct. Chicago gangster Dion O'Banion, who started the practice of lavish arrangements at mob funerals, had this civilian trade. Okay, player 3. No. Anyone else? It's player 1.
Yeah!
Good. Player 1, where do we start? Check it out. It's how I refer to my flashy diamonds and gold chains. Player 1?
Yeah!
Is correct. Player 1, back to you. The OED defines it as faint or barely audible speech. Okay, player 2. Nope. Any other takers? Okay, player 1. Right. Player 1, back to you. Scandalous 19th century French dance. Okay, player 1. That's right, way to go. You again, player 1. In the 1950s, this secret militant movement opposed British rule in Kenya. Here's the correct response. The Mau Mau. Please pick again, player 1. In a children's song, Dear Little Nellie is way down yonder in this fruit patch. Here's the response we were looking for. The Paw Paw. Player 1, choose again. This ancient city is the capital of Greece. Yes, player 1? That's correct. We return to you, player 1. Let's take it over to Jimmy.
It's the name of the island seen here, mate.
It's player 1.
Yeah!
Correct. Select again. Mont Blanc is the highest peak in these mountains. Let's hear it, player 1.
Yeah!
Is correct. Please pick again, player 1. Kabul is its capital. Let's hear it, player 1.
Yeah!
You are correct. Select again. Known to the Romans as Numidia, it borders the Mediterranean. Here's what we were looking for. Algeria. Please pick again, player 1. DuPont owns the trademark to this refrigerant gas introduced in the 1930s to replace hazardous substances. Yes, player 1? That is correct. Select again. It immediately precedes lithium on the periodic table. It's player 3. No, sorry. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Yes, player 1? Good. You get to pick again, player 1. The name of this gas comes from the Greek for strange. Player 3? That's correct. Okay, let's get back into this. Player 3, you make the next selection. To make a simple fire extinguisher, put vinegar in baking soda, producing this gas that will put out a flame. It's player 3. You are pretty good. Back on the plus side. You again, player 3. A poem by this American begins, "When lilacs last in the dooryard bloomed." Player 3? No. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Yes, player 1? Oh! That's incorrect. Any other takers? It's player 2.
Yeah!
Good for you. All right, let's get back into this. Player 2 has control. Sarah will present this clue.
Many of the poems of Federico Garcia Lorca have been adapted for this Spanish art form that combines guitar, song, and dance.
Okay, player 1. Yes. Okay, let's get back into this. Player 1, you make the next. Around 1910, for chemical company BASF, Carl Bosch learned to make quantities of this gas from nitrogen and hydrogen. Yes, player 1? Yes. Player 1, choose again. Answer? One of the daily doubles. You are in the lead right now. How much are you going to wager, player 1? Answer? His love song of J. Alfred Prufrock says, "In the room the women come and go, talking of Michelangelo." Congratulations, you're still in first, player 1. We return to you, player 1. Richard Cory, a gentleman from soul to crown, in a poem by this man, put a bullet through his head. Yes, player 3?
Yeah.
That's right, way to go. Where do we begin, player 3? Funeral Blues by this British poet begins, "Stop all the clocks, cut off the telephone." Here's what we wanted. W.H. Auden. Player 3, back to you. It begins, "Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again." Let's hear it, player 1. That is correct. Player 1, you start us off. In Mrs. Robinson, Simon wrote, "A nation turns its lonely eyes to this man." Let's hear it, player 3. That's correct. Player 3, start us. Answer. The other daily double. You're in second now, but with an opportunity to catch up a bit. So, here is your daily double clue. Goodbye to Rosie, the Queen of Corona. See you, me, and him down by the schoolyard. Good. Player 3. Choose again.
Simon's 1973 song about this color transparency film said, "Give us those nice bright colors."
It's Player 1. Sorry. Any other takers? Let's hear it, Player 2. Nope. Sorry. Anyone else? Yes, Player 3. That is correct. We return to you, Player 3. Competition from the new Chevrolet spurred Henry Ford to introduce this new model in 1927. It's Player 1. Nope. Any other takers? Here's the correct response. The Model A. You again, Player 3.
In Bridge Over Troubled Water, Simon told her to sail on by. Your time has come to shine.
Yes, Player 3. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? The correct response is
Silver Girl.
select again.
Fresh out of Columbia University in 1923, he debuted at the age of 20 with the New York Yankees.
It's Player 3. Oh, sorry. Any other takers? Here's what we wanted.
Lou Gehrig.
Here's the $2,000 clue.
This evangelist made plenty of headlines in the 1920s, like in 1926 when she claimed to have been kidnapped.
Let's hear it, Player 3. You are correct. Sorry, Player 2. Looks like you will not be continuing on to Final Jeopardy. Here's the Final Jeopardy category. Ancient names. So, what's your wager? Let's take a look at the last clue.
Appropriately, the name of this dramatist comes from Greek words meaning wise and famous.
Let's see your response. And that will lose you. What did you put as your response? Sorry, that incorrect response will drop your score by... Here's what we were looking for.
Sophocles.
Woo! You've come out ahead as our champion, Player 3. So long.